battle of the gimbals continues between DJI and Zhiyun. Zhiyun has actually released 5 days ago their latest gimbal known as the Zhiyun WEEBILL-S, which is basically a direct competitor for the DJI Ronin SC, which is DJI's latest gimbal, which was released about a couple of months ago. So on my channel, I've done a lot of different setups with different cameras and lenses on the DJI Ronin SC. So we will also be doing setup tutorials on the Zhiyun WEEBILL-S in the upcoming videos. So if you want to stay updated on the different camera setups on the Zhiyun WEEBILL-S, be sure to subscribe and hit that notifications button. So in this video, we will be checking out what's in the box for the Zhiyun WEEBILL-S. I've already noticed one important item which doesn't come included in the box and should be a separate purchase, which is really important, but they didn't include it, so that's pretty strange. So in this video, besides checking out what's in the box, we'll be comparing the Zhiyun WEEBILL-S against the DJI Ronin SC in terms of, firstly, compatibility. What are the different kinds of camera setups which are compatible on the Zhiyun WEEBILL-S and on the DJI Ronin SC? Number 2 will be in terms of practicality. What kind of camera you're using will be a really important part of choosing which gimbal to choose. Number 3 would be the filming style. What kind of different filming styles do you require, and which of these gimbals would be more suitable for your filming style? Fourthly would be the price. Definitely for most of us, price would play an important part in which of these gimbals would be more value for money for your camera setup and your filming style. Fifth, we'll be checking out the different functions available on each of these gimbals. After reading a lot of comments from different YouTubers and stuff, a lot of people seem to favor DJI more than Zhiyun. A lot of people mentioned that the DJI gimbals are of better quality and last much longer than the Zhiyun gimbals, but in terms of, a lot of YouTubers pointed out that both of them actually are pretty crappy after sales customer service, so that is one thing to take note of. As you can see, I have the WEEBILL-S right here with me. This is the tripod that comes in the box. I just decided to be creative and put my own tripod on the bottom. This tripod is actually from the Zhiyun Crane M2, a much smaller tripod. I just wanted to show you the most cool feature about the WEEBILL-S is that you can actually change the position of your tripod depending on what kind of mode you're shooting in. So if you're doing normal photo shots, you can just hold the gimbal like this, and if you're going low pan shots, low photo shots, or maybe pan shots, this would probably be a better place to put your tripod, which would give you better stabilization and make it easier to do your filming. So that's pretty cool. I love the design of the WEEBILL-S with this feature. I think this is the feature that stands out the most for me personally. In terms of weight, the WEEBILL-S actually, without the tripod and the battery, on the website states 926 grams, but I guess if you were to put on the tripod and the batteries, it might come up to about 1.1 kg. The DJI Ronin SC, on the other hand, on paper also is at 1.1 kg without the tripod. Once you throw on the tripod, it might come up to about 1.2 kgs. So in terms of weight, there's not much difference between the two, but definitely in terms of size and portability, the Zhiyun WEEBILL-S definitely is a lot smaller and more compact. So if you do a lot of traveling, the Zhiyun WEEBILL-S would definitely be a choice for you. So after doing a lot of DJI Ronin SC tutorials and Crane M2 tutorials, I realized that the most important aspect when choosing a gimbal before you consider anything else would be compatibility. Basically, why is it important? Because you want your camera setup to be compatible so that you can use its functions, its cool functions that is available on the gimbals itself, and not just using it to stabilize your videos. We want to use the functions, and both these gimbals right here have different camera compatibility lists. So first of all, we're going to check out right now what cameras are compatible on the Zhiyun WEEBILL-S and what camera setups are compatible on your DJI Ronin SC. And another really important point between these two gimbals to take note of before we run to compatibility list is that the DJI Ronin SC over here was actually specifically designed for mirrorless cameras. So it has a payload of up to 2 kgs, and all the support that you're gonna get from DJI for the DJI Ronin SC would only be for mirrorless cameras. So if you are having a DSLR camera, a lot of Canon cameras like the 5D Mark IV, 5D Mark III, 6D Mark II and stuff, the Canon 80D, really popular cameras. If you are using one of those, the DJI Ronin SC is not suitable for you, and DJI will not give support for these cameras. If you are having a DSLR and you still like DJI a lot, their older model gimbal, the DJI Ronin S, is actually much cheaper and it is designed for mirrorless and DSLRs, and it can also take much heavier payload. The Zhiyun WEEBILL-S, on the other hand, is slightly different. WEEBILL-S was actually designed for both DSLRs and mirrorless cameras. So that's the key feature of the WEEBILL-S. It's much smaller than the Ronin SC, but it can take heavier payloads and support for DSLRs. So which of these would be more practical for you? For myself personally, I do have DSLRs and mirrorless cameras, so definitely the Zhiyun WEEBILL-S would be a better choice because I can use my cameras interchangeably and still be able to use the cool functions available on the ZY app, or in this case the WEEBILL-S. You have your features built in to the gimbal. You can choose the different settings without having to go into the ZY app. So right now, let's check out the compatibility list. And if your camera is on the compatibility list, then you can make a better decision. The Ronin SC has been around for about 1 to 2 months, and they have included, after a few firmware updates, support for more mirrorless cameras. The Zhiyun WEEBILL-S was only launched 5 days ago. If your camera is not on the compatibility list, who knows, maybe they might include support for your camera. So let's check out the compatibility list right now. So first up, let's take a look at the DJI Ronin SC camera compatibility list. As you can see, nearly every single Sony mirrorless camera has been given support for the DJI Ronin SC. Nikon Z6, Z7, the Canon EOS RP, the Canon EOS R, and the M50, the Panasonic GH5, GH5S, the G9. You can see a whole lot of mirrorless cameras. At least 70% of mirrorless cameras have been given support on the DJI Ronin SC. So now let's take a look at the weebil-s camera compatibility list. You can see that the list is much shorter, and on this first page that you just saw, there are some cameras which haven't been updated on that first page but are under these lens compatibility lists. For example, the Canon EOS RP, which is not on the first page but is shown over here. Canon EOS RP. If I scroll further down as well, you can see a bunch of Fujifilm cameras like XH1, the X-T2, X-T3, X-T30, and the X-T100. And last of all, the BMP-CC 4K camera is also compatible with the Zhiyun WEEBILL-S. This is the tripod for the Zhiyun WEEBILL-S and feels really nice. It's made of hard plastic, or is it metal? Seems like it's a metal tripod with a leather grip, so that's a really nice rubbery leather kind of feeling in the hand. So that's pretty nice. You can see that it's not smooth, never slip out the hand. It's actually got some texture. And over here is the camera riser, and then we have the quick release plate, which they say it's pretty special. It can split into two. I've never used one of these before, but I want to check it out. Then there's the lens support connected to it. It's pretty cool. And then we have some stuff here in a small box. So we're going to check out what cables we have. Firstly, we have the, this is a micro USB to multi USB cable. Then we have the micro USB to micro USB cable. Micro USB to micro USB. And then we have, they have a mini USB cable, so that's pretty neat. This would probably work on the Canon 200D, which has this port. We're gonna test it out. This is micro USB to mini USB. Yep, exactly. This is what the DJI Ronin SC lacked, this specific mini USB cable. That's why we couldn't use this. Couldn't use the Canon 200D on the DJI Ronin SC via the cable. And then we have a mini USB to USB Type-C. So a lot more variation of cables. This would be the charging cable to USB Type-C. And then we do have some screws in a small plastic bag. So this is the battery. Looks pretty cool. Looks like giant AA batteries. I believe it's a special kind of battery. It's a 26 milliamp batteries, and they say, Zhiyun claims that these batteries can last for about 14 hours, so that's 3 hours more than the DJI Ronin SC, which can last about 11 hours. And this is the battery charger. Should probably be good to open up this plastic and give it a charge before we try it out. Then we have the gimbal itself. So small, my gosh. This is extremely small. Look at that. It's really, really nice. It's light as well. It's really small compared to the DJI Ronin SC. I'll put it on the tripod and show you a side-by-side comparison. The locks are very nice in red, so it's easy to find. One lock here. You have the USB Type-C port over here on the axis. This is the electronic pull focus wheel. This hole here is for additional attachments. One lock here, one lock here. So it looks nice, looks pretty neat. Nice branding as well. That little bit of red makes it look really nice. There's the joystick over here. You have a mini LCD screen, some buttons. Power buttons on the left here. You can switch between the PF mode, the live mode, switch functionalities, and on this side is just a charging cable port, USB Type-C, and yeah, feels a bit plasticky though, but I believe in order to make it really light, basically the whole structure is made of slightly cheaper plastic. It feels a bit more plastic than the DJI Ronin SC, but I believe, like I said, is actually to keep it light. Of course, the axes are all metal, but the body is light and plasticky. Focus wheel feels nice. Yep, so pretty cool. So over here we have a relatively new gimbal from Zhiyun, the Zhiyun Crane M2. This is relatively small, as you can see, extremely light and portable, and you can put compact mirrorless cameras, point and shoot cameras, mobile phones, and action cams. In the middle right here we have Zhiyun's latest gimbal, the Zhiyun WEEBILL-S. You can see the size of it is really small for a gimbal which can take extremely heavy setups. They haven't specified a payload for the Zhiyun WEEBILL-S, but I believe that this Zhiyun WEEBILL-S is able to take payloads or camera setups which are heavier than this giant bugger over here, which is the DJI Ronin SC. So I've been playing around with DJI Ronin SC for a few months right now, and I absolutely love this. It's a bit big, but it's really nice and sturdy, and stabilization is great. So I just recently bought this and I'm going to test it out, do some testing against the DJI Ronin SC, which is of course its direct competitor. The Zhiyun Crane M2 is just here to do a size comparison for you guys who want to see the exact difference in size for your camera setup. In terms of pricing, this costs about $250 US. This is the most expensive among the three, coming in at about $469 US. And this right now, without the focus motor, actually only comes in at $359 US. So quite a lot of difference in price. One really apparent item missing from this Zhiyun WEEBILL-S is the phone holder. So the phone holder actually came with the Crane M2, and you can see on the DJI Ronin SE comes with a phone holder as well, which is really important. When you put your camera here, you can put your handphone here on the phone holder to actually be able to view what's on your camera and stuff. But for this WEEBILL-S, unfortunately doesn't come with the phone holder in the box, so I believe we will have to purchase it separately, and that would increase the price. Like I said, this is about $469 right now, and this is about $359. But if you include the combo pack, which comes with the focus motor and the thread and all that, comes in about $459. This standalone is already $469, so a lot of difference in price. But I guess if you are using a really heavy setup, heavier than 2 kgs, which is 2 kgs is the max payload of the DJI Ronin SC, if you're using really heavy setups, this would probably be a more suitable gimbal for your heavy setups. So in terms of function, more or less both these gimbals have relatively the same kinds of functions, just that it has a different name. The weebil-S, actually some of the functions requires a separate purchase called the image module. They do have similar functions such as time-lapse, motion-lapse, panorama. The weebil-S has an additional function called long exposure motion lapse, which the DJI Ronin SC doesn't have, but that can easily be done on the settings of your camera to do the long exposure motion lapse. Two of the most important features that actually made the DJI Ronin SC popular was Force Mobile. Basically, you can connect your Ronin SC to your iPhone, and then when you move your iPhone, the gimbal actually follows. They have included that in the weebil-S as well. I've seen some videos. It's not as good as the DJI Ronin S Force Mobile, but it does work the same way. It's a bit slightly laggier and stuff. We will be testing out in the upcoming videos. The other important feature is the active track. The DJI Ronin SC had the active track 3.0, which is really impressive. Really love the active track. It was so good, so accurate. I've yet to try it out on weebil-S. Like I said, we will be testing it out in the upcoming videos to see if their active track is as good as the DJI Ronin SC. Something different which I also need to explore is that for the active track feature to work on the DJI Ronin SC, basically it is compulsory to have your mobile phone on your camera on the gimbal. It is compulsory. You cannot use your mobile phone on the side here in the phone holder and get the active track to work. That doesn't work. Your phone must be mounted on your camera on the DJI Ronin SC for the active track to work. So that is a really troublesome thing to do. It's already, most of the camera setups are already so heavy, plus you need to include a giant phone on top of it, which makes the whole setup really treacherous. I've gotten so many questions and so many pissed off people, pissed off YouTubers telling me that they can't balance their phone on their camera on the DJI Ronin SC. But if you have a light camera setup, any light phone, that would be pretty much easier. For the weebil-S, what I've been reading is that for your tracking to work, you do not need your mobile phone to be on your camera. So I'll be checking it out. That'll be pretty cool if you could just hold your camera in your hand and then do the tracking on the ZY app, the Zhiyun app, and let the camera on the gimbal track it itself without having that phone stuck on top of the camera, which is so difficult to balance basically. That active track on the weebil-S requires a separate purchase of an image module, but I will try it out without the image module and see whether or not it is able to work in the upcoming videos. And one more important thing is that the weebil-S has included intelligent auto tuning. Basically, whatever camera that you mount on your weebil-S, the weebil-S would try its best to actually strengthen the motors according to your camera setup. So that is also yet to be tested out. In the next video, we will be doing a setup tutorial, so I hope you stay tuned for the next one. I will be first, as usual, doing a setup on my favorite camera, the Panasonic G9. The Panasonic G9, as you see in the camera compatibility list, is not there, but the Panasonic G9 is relatively similar to the GH5 and the GH5S. So I'm going to test it out and see whether or not it is compatible to connect to the ZY app to use its features and stuff. This will be my first tutorial on how to set up, will be the Panasonic G9. And of course, my only full frame camera that I have, the Canon EOS RP with the kit lens. And I also will be doing a tutorial on the other RF lens that I have, which weighs in at 800 grams, which is the Samyang RF 14mm f2.8. Other setups that I will be doing are the Sony a6500, the EM1 mirrorless camera. Most important to be the Canon 200D, because this weebil-S is compatible with DSLRs and they have included that mini USB cable in the box. So there are a lot of Canon 200D users out there in the market, so I will be testing it out as well. And I will get my hands on the Sony a7 III, the Nikon Z6, and the Canon 80D as well. So thanks guys for watching. Hope you enjoyed this video. Make sure to stay tuned for my upcoming videos. Hit the subscribe button and the notifications button, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.